Begin our prayer and think about using our clone. So, part two. In the last transmission, I left off with a gem, a jewel, if you will. um, and that jewel was Elion Elion El. So, I'm going to pick up there. And in this video, I'm also going to put the pictures in there. The last one, I didn't place the pictures. I'm going to put the pictures that I have, the images that I've taken of Nibiru, or the hologram that Nibiru is sending off for those of us who know what we're looking at to see. Um, but I left off with Elion Elion El. So that I was, as I said in the last one, I was saying an affirmation, and in the affirmation, it required me to repeat Elion Elion El a couple of times. Well, a few times. I'm not gonna say exactly how many times, but in this affirmation, I repeated Elion Elion El. And as I was saying it, one day it just hit me like, because like, so we gotta realize too, like, this English language, it's a spell indeed. It's a big part of the spell that we have been placed under. Um, and so, it's very, the language is very confusing. Words had different, like one word has several different meanings. The etymology of the word can change. Well, I'm gonna say the definition of a word can change over time. This is why I always like to go back and look at etymologies of words versus just looking at the definition, because etymology will tell you where the word originated from, and a lot of times you can hear a lot of those sounds, the phonetics of the words that would allow you to make connections and understand what different words mean and how they play games with us with these words, and have us attaching negative emotions to words that because everything here has a negative and a positive. So anything could be used for either or, but a lot of times we attach certain emotions or negative emotions to certain words based off of what we was taught, based off what we was told. My favorite example I give of this is witch, the word witch. Phonetically, it sounds the same. Witch, which is someone who practices magic in some form, sorcery or whatever. And then witch, Which, which is basically a choice. And in both, it's a choice. Like, everybody that practices sorcery, magic, witchcraft, voodoo, or whatever you want to call it, is not coming from a negative point of view. Regardless if you like to think that. Now, I know in the Bible it speaks against um, witchcraft, sorcery, divination, soothsayers, which was really crazy to me because because I didn't know at first, I didn't know what soothsayer was. So when I looked it up, and it's basically a soothsayer is a truth speaker. So you against a truth speaker? You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking the truth. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Again, I don't want to get sidetracked, but that's one of the biggest examples that I like to use because of the negative connotation that the word witch get. The one that practices sorcery versus witch, which is just like a choice. They're the same words phonetically, but definitively the definition of them varies. So one you attach a negative emotion to, the other one you just is neutral because it's, oh, I'm just choosing which one, you know. And the same thing with witchcraft or sorcery or whatever. You're basically making a choice. Are you going to use this magic? Are you going to use this gift for good or for bad? And whether Christians want to admit it or not, a lot of Christians practice witchcraft. They use the Bible to cast spells. The book of Psalms is a book of spells. So, again, like I say, it's that was one, like I said again, it was a lot of triggers for me when it came down to Christianity, and that being another one. Besides the fear and the control aspect, it's the hypocrisy part of it. The condemning somebody else for doing the same thing you're doing, but because they're doing it under a different name, it's wrong. If they do it in the name of Jesus, it's right. But if they do it in the name of a God that they associate with or they resonate with, or a deity that they associate with, then it's wrong. It's of the devil. It's evil. But that goes again with this wordplay that, we have, and how we look at words, and how we associate to them. Um, but back to the original, because that was the point. So phonetics, that was the point that I was making. So when I'm saying the word Elion, Elion, El, and I'm constantly saying it, it starts to feel, like alien, 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 alien. And I'm starting to like feel that vibration. And this goes back to me saying in the last video that the gods in the Bible are Anunnaki. Enki brought religion to the people, um, as a form of control. If you go back and like if you read other things besides the Bible, then you would see how these stories all connect, and how I think that Christians would have a little bit more respect for others' path, and understand, like, okay, this is my path, this is what I believe in, and that don't mean that their path is wrong. It may be not right for me, but that don't mean it's wrong for them. That they must repent and confess their lives to Christ or Jesus Christ. Because, like I said, I'm like, let me be clear. I overstand and I am for Christ consciousness, but I know that consciousness is within us. Even in the Bible, it said, Jesus in the Bible says, um, ye are gods. Did I not tell you that ye are gods? You know what I'm saying? So even in your own Bible, you are told that you are made in the image and the likeness. And not just the image of the likeness, that you are also gods. Again, but a lot of the stories, again, I'm not trying to debate that backward and forth, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. I just wanted to point out the point of fact that these gods in the Bible are in fact Anunnaki. And this is where these laws came from. It was a basic way to keep the people under control. And it worked. And to this day, it's still working. you know, it's sad. I'm not laughing at that fact. It's more so like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, with so much information at our fingertips. And I'm not talking about somebody being a TikTok or Google scholar, but you can literally look up all different types of resources and find, the sources of these things, and find like actually correct answers to questions. Um, and you can also get a lot of information from the Bible if you're looking at it with the right eyes. If you're not looking at it from a place of fear, looking at it from a place of love, you will have you will open up your heart to the paths of others. Because at the end of the day, everybody is on the same path, traveling back home. Everybody, basically making their way back home. Now, how you get there, your path, the steps you take, that's the part that you have the free will on. Some people gonna walk, some people gonna ride a bike, some people gonna drive a car, some people gonna take a train, some people gonna fly. You know, the way you get there, how you get there, how fast you get there, that's your path. The roads you take, that's your path. No one outside of you can really tell you that this is your path. They can say it, but if that's not what resonates with you, that's probably because it's not your path. That's not the path you're supposed to be taking. And a lot of people following paths that's given to them, that they adopted, or that was traditionally passed down to them, or that was forced upon them. Um, I don't like, I don't know. I guess people may find it that this must be the one true religion because, colonizers, everywhere colonizers went, they took this religion and they used it as a form of control to, like everywhere they went. And so I guess some people may think, well, it's some people that there's Christians and, people here, people there, they look like this, they like that, and they Christians, blah, 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 so it must be the one true religion. The fact is, Christianity is a fairly new religion. Before, like, so, okay, let me say this. Before I did this video, I was hesitant because I did not want to touch a lot on celebrities and stuff like that. I didn't want to really go down that path. But I was seeing things like, for example, the movie Sinners. I didn't even know what it was. I don't really follow that type of stuff, but it was showing up in my shorts on YouTube. People was talking about it. So I look, I'm like, what is Sinners? So I look up and I see, it's a movie with Michael B. Jordan. And I actually watched the movie and it was actually a pretty good movie, like real shit. But what caught my attention, it wasn't even like, it was Christians. Like it was everybody that was talking about it at the time when I seen it was Christians talking about how evil it was. They released this movie on Easter. It's to try to take away from Jesus and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So like I wanted to see what it was about. Like just for the point of fact that it was so, they were so passionate about it. Like, okay, like what is this movie about? From the preview, it looked like it just like a vampire movie. And quite honest, like, I like horror movies. So, that intrigued me even more. But the movie was like way more deeper, touching back to our roots and showing how music, sound, tones, like how that is a big connecting factor between all of us. It goes across the board, across cultures and everything. So, it was a really good movie in aspect of like a lot of different things. It was like a lot of different symbolisms in it. But this is not about that, so I'm not gonna get into all that. But it was that, and then something else had like popped up like shortly after that, where I guess Solange, Beyonce's sister, she went somewhere. So she was doing something and she had like a picture or a video. And it was like an altar behind her or something, and the altar had the deity Yamaya, and this is Orisha from the Yoruba tribe, and so they was like, again, it was the Christians, and they the ones always bringing stuff to the forefront about how something's so evil and so afraid. Like, oh my God, Christians be so afraid of everything. Like, it's crazy, but whatever the case may be, they was saying like how, and it was like, and what got me was it was a lot of melanated, sorry, I said for this video, I was going to say so-called black people, so you'll know who I'm talking about, but it was like the so-called black people, like, that's evil, she worships the devil, and this, that, and the third, and the thing that was getting them was it was a melanated sister on her altar, which they didn't even know who it was. They just like, oh, it looks demonic. Why would it just, why would it bother you? Why would you think that someone that looks like you, a deity that looks like you, is demonic, but you readily worship a deity with blonde hair and blue eyes? That is so beyond me. And even now, even if like those people want to say, okay, well, no, we know that that's not true. We know that, that Jesus didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. That they just told us that to make us worship a God that looked like them. Okay, well, if you say that, then how do you take anything else from that and believe it wholeheartedly if they lied to you about that, if they used it for that? Like this same Bible telling you how to be a good slave and telling them how to treat you as a slave and this and the third. Like, how does this not register to you that this was a form of control? But like I said again, this is just my thoughts about it. Not trying to be disrespectful or to down somebody's religion, but I just really, these are things that I really be wanting to know from Christians. Like, how do you? And I get it, like, this part I do get, that, when people go through a lot of things, they reach out. And what they reach out to is what's familiar. And for a lot of us, is reaching out to religion, is reaching out to Jesus. This is what we taught, this is what we grew up on. And so when you're looking for that hope, for that connection, this is what you're going to reach to because it's familiar. And things like that will make you uncomfortable if that's not what you used to seeing. If you was always shown an image that don't look like you as the Most High or a God or a deity or whatever you want to call your higher power, then when something don't look like that, it will make you feel uncomfortable. I remember years ago, I had this book called The Rapture, and it had images in it, and the images was like, black and white, but it was melanated beings. And somebody, I'm not going to call this person out, but somebody, I was showing a person, and I was like excited to him, like, look, because it felt empowering to me, you know what I mean? But this person who basically grew up in a church, with the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus, like, whoa, that looks scary. And like they literally look terrified. And I'm like, why does that look scary? Why does somebody that look like you look scary, but the opposite image that was given to you don't look scary to you? And they didn't really have an answer besides it's just because that's what they know. And that's, I think, a lot of Christians, that's the realm, the state of mind that they fall into is, this is what I know, this is what I was taught, this is what my family was taught, this is what they taught me, so this is what I'm gonna roll with. And again, like I said, this is why I don't care to argue about that, because it's a uphill battle on it, because it's just not their path. And at the end of the day, my thing is, if they have the right heart, if their heart is righteous and pure, and they have good intentions as far as how they moving through the world, they're agreeable. You know, I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and debate with you about, the semantics. You know what I'm saying? This book says this, the word said this, why I say this. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about that, because at the end of the day, when people want to believe something and hold on to something, they will hold on for dear life. And so it becomes a pointless argument. Um, but yeah, so now back to the alien L thing. So that's key, because these are the beings that navigate Nibiru. Now, I have been seeing in the in my feeds, like, they say different videos. Sometimes I watch like these different spiritual videos. They be like compilations. I don't really be on TikTok, but the videos be like, a lot of times, like TikTok compilations and stuff like that. It may be Instagram and stuff like that too. I'm not really sure, because I'm not on Instagram either. But they be like these compilations, and in the compilations they be talking about different things. And I actually looked it up, and they really are saying that it's a planet that's coming this way, and they say it should be here by like November. They're not really sure the time frame, excuse me, but according to their calculations, because of the speed that it's traveling and the distance that it is right now, they calculated to be here around October and November. Now, one of the things is they can't really fully calculate it, because it doesn't move in a way. That's how they know it's not a comet or a meteor or something like that, because it's not like a straight shot. It's moving erratic. It's not moving in a pattern that they can kind of predict. And this is exactly what it says in A Man from Planet Risk. Like I said, yeah, I'm sure it's in the Holy Tablets, but just because I've read this recently in the Man from Planet Risk, I'm gonna use this as the reference versus the Holy Tablets, because then I can tell you like, hey, it's here, it's in this scroll, and yeah. But what it says about is Nibiru is a movable throne, a planet, plan ET, plan extraterrestrial, and a craft. It looks like a star. It seems to be surrounded with white, sometimes bluish or greenish light. It's 3 times the size of Earth, and it moves erratically. It doesn't stay on a steady course. So what they're, again, this is dealing with this fear. They're pushing the fear, saying they always coming, and the thing is like it moves in a way like it can hide or go behind something. They don't know what they don't want it to pop out, and they said it's violent. And this again is another tactic for them to get us to basically turn against it and not align with that and be taken. They want us stuck here and trapped here with them. You know what I'm saying? So, and those and I'm not gonna go in this video anyway too much deeply into that, but I will say this. Some people say Earth is a prison, and when you think about the constructs, Earth is a 3D plane, person, people, place, and thing, right? Everything pretty much of significance is in threes. You know what I mean? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and I can go on and on, but it manifests in threes here, right? And so they are using these they are using like the fear concept, or the they're pushing the fear concept upon us to get us to basically turn our back away from our divinity and rising into our higher self, our higher being, to reconnect to the Most High. So, because when you're in fear, that's you're not connecting with the Most High. The Most High vibrating at the frequency of love, not fear. So when they pushing this on you, you're constantly in that state of fear, constantly in that state of survival. That's not a state of divinity. Your divine self does not fear because it knows. You just don't remember. And they don't want you to remember. So they push things like that. They know exactly what Nibiru is. They know exactly, like they don't know exactly when it's coming. That is true. They don't know exactly like the exact date, time. Now they don't know that part. But they know what's coming. They know who's on this craft. They know that the Anunnaki is here. That some Anunnaki is already here. They know this. They know that these beings are coming to collect their people. They know this. So they use, and this is why you're getting so much push now with the Bible, because again, it's that fear. I can hear it, I can feel it. With like so many people, like as soon as you say anything that sounds like it's not of the Bible, it automatically, and it's like they can say it's coming from a space of love, but I can feel it. You can hear in their voice, the words that they choose, that it's not love, it's fear. They're afraid. They're afraid that if they don't like continuously confess their love for Jesus, that they're going to get left behind. So this is what they want you to think. They also know that the Nibiru has a force field around it. It's a video, and I'm not even sure because it was it was on one of the compilations, but they was showing a solar flare. They was showing this object that they say is they call it some other stuff. They don't call it Nibiru. That's another thing. So they don't call it Nibiru. They give it like these weird ass names like ALT 59,000 P54 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But it has a force field around it. The Nibiru has a force field around it because it's a planet, it's a craft, it's both. You know what I mean? So they know it has a force field around it. The force field is square. The Nibiru is not necessarily round like a perfect round, but more of a round shape. But the square force field around it, when it's spinning. And the Nibiru is like magnetic. So it's not like the same like how Earth has the gravitational pull, which is what it's like the magnetic field is what's protecting it, right? So the solar flare comes off the sun, boom, goes right into Nibiru. Nibiru deflects it. It like literally bounces off of the force field. Again, now they showing this, but they're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you what's really going on. They know exactly what it is. Again, this Project Bluebeam, when you start seeing like the crafts in the sky and this and the third, and they like, oh, that's Project Bluebeam. I see some people saying that too. Oh, that's Project Bluebeam. Let me tell you something. Before Project Bluebeam became like this popular trending thing, I've been seeing crafts in the sky. Long before that, before I was even taking pictures of it. Like I got images now, but even before I was taking pictures of it, even before I had a phone, I was seeing Nibiru. I was seeing crafts. You know what I'm saying? Even what they tell you are stars, they're not really stars in a sense of, well, some of them are not really stars in a sense they tell you. Some of these lights that we say are stars, are actually beings that has activated their Merkaba and literally is up there flying or out there, because it's not really up there. From our perspective, it's up there, but we in space, so it's really out there. But whatever the case may be, I know that another thing is they say like this firmament, how we got this dome over, we have this dome over our planet, and the earth is flat, which again is not true. I'm not about to debate with you about it. It's not true. Like, yeah, but the force field, and it also has a hologram. So Nibiru is also able to shoot holograms where you can see. So like what we're actually seeing, so like what I'm showing you, some of the images is not the actual Nibiru, because Nibiru is so big, like literally like in order to be able to see it with our naked eye, if we was able to see it, we wouldn't see nothing else after it. Like for real see it. Now we may see shams that come off in the Nibiru, but the actual mothership craft, like yeah, if like the Nibiru come into Earth's atmosphere, like I said in the next video, we're done. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? It would shatter Earth's electromagnetic field around it. So yeah, that's like, let me be clear about that. So when we seeing certain things, they're trying to throw you out by saying, "Oh, it's Project Bluebeam." No, it's a hologram coming from the Bureau. I even got that on like some pictures as well, where you can see, like where you can see from a distance, a craft, but then you can also see like a hologram that's like pointing down at Earth or on Earth. And I know people say, "Oh no, that's your camera reflecting the light and all this kind of stuff." No, because you can see this with your eyes. One of the reasons, like some things that give me with people when they be seeing stuff like that. In order for somebody to pull their phone out, their camera out, or whatever, and want to take pictures, it had to be something that they see with their naked eye that caught their attention and made them want to take a picture in the first place. So when I'm saying I can see this in my, it may not always like look the same way on camera as it do with my naked eyes. And even sometimes, I could take pictures or record videos and my phone would literally like freeze. Like it won't even let me take pictures. Sometimes it's just like, no, you can't, no, we ain't on that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, again, this is just, one of those things that, they trying to distract you. Keep you focused on earthly things so that you stuck here. So when that time come, you not focused on, flying. Because I say this too. Nibiru ain't coming like some goddamn movie and a fucking light beaming from the bottom of it gonna zap you up into Nibiru. Now you're gonna have to make your way there. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to activate your own Merkaba, your own craft, your own sham. And you're gonna have to get to Nibiru. You have to get to these crafts. And like the great balls of fire, like I was reading it, like the balls of fire are already here. Nibiru not traveling with these great balls of fire is gonna release them. When Nibiru get here and make his pickup, this is what the great balls of fire will come from. And again, these are things that they know. They put it in. They have to tell you, but they mix lies in it so that you be confused. You know what I'm saying? But the great balls of fire will come from when the when the pickup happens, when the Nibiru take off. First of all, it will suck up the balls from the earth, and when it's gonna take the energy from it needs, and it's gonna blow them balls back to earth. That's when the great balls of fire will come from. Again, they know this. This is something that they know. Yeah, but let's go back. Now I'm gonna bring it back full circle to Wormwood. The wormwood that will make the waters bitter, and how it would be considered a punishment. Look at it like this. If your body is full of poison, full of toxins, and you take something to expel it and it's extremely bitter, and you don't know how to dose it, you don't know how to take it, you thirsty, for example, so you like, I'm gonna drink this water. You drink this water and it's full of bitters, but you thirsty, so you drinking it. Now you sick because your body is toxic, your body is poison. And if your body poison, 9 times out of 10, it's because your mind was poisoned first. So that's the first step. Like, get your mental. One of the first hermetic principles is all is mental. You know what I mean? So you have to get your mental right first, your mind right first, and the body will follow. It's always spirit, mind, then physical. It's not the other way around. You don't do the physical work and expect everything to just be okay. If the mental is not there, the spiritual not there, you're not going to follow through with it anyway. The mental and the spiritual have to come first. That's what projects the physical reality. So wormwood would not be a punishment to those who are already purifying themselves. It won't be a punishment. Like, example, if I'm taking wormwood, like, yeah, of course that shit bitter as hell. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm taking it now and cleansing my body, if I'm cleansing my thoughts, cleansing my heart, if I drink wormwood, and um, especially me knowing how to take it, it's not gonna have the same effect on me. For one, I'm not gonna be trying to gulp it. You know what I'm saying? But for two, I'm already in the process of doing it. And you do that with meditation. And meditation, and it's not like what you think. It's not just always you sitting somewhere with your legs crossed, in the dark, humming chants and doing mantras and shit like that. It's not just that. Meditation can take forms in a lot of different ways. All it is just you being still so that you can hear it. You being quiet in your mind. And however that may look, they look different for a lot of different people. Because I know when I first started meditating, I had a hard time like doing it without music. And I still use music, but I could do it either way now. But before I used to have to use music in order to get my mind to still and make the thoughts stop racing, But it's meditation, it's stillness. It's also taking steps to just be the best version of yourself, to do right by yourself and others, to see others as yourself, because we're all one. The thought of us being separate is an illusion. Like, everybody that you talk to, everybody that you come across is another version of you, is another version of the Most High in a different form. Usually here to either help you ascend to your next level. Sometimes it may be a painful lesson, depending on you. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you meet people and this is, like they say, a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Like, some people, it's just they meant to travel this road with you. Some people, they come and they help you along the way to pick up on different parts of knowledge and different pieces of the puzzle that you need for your journey. But at the end of the day, what we all need to be doing is loving ourselves and loving one another, and getting ourselves to a state of purity and righteousness. And when I'm saying purity and righteousness, I'm saying leave this earthly shit alone. Give them all they shit back. It's a content creator on TikTok, and I'm only gonna give his name, but not like name dropping him like that. I'm gonna give his name because I'm about to use a phrase that I only heard him use. He called them the deletes. I know a lot of people call them elites, but I'm the same way about certain things. I don't want to give you a title that puts you above. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to I'm going to call you the elites or the powers that be. And I'm not calling you all that, because that's giving you a ranking above me. And you're not. No matter how we may perceive, they in the power, they got the control, that's how you perceive it. And as long as you keep giving them titles and calling them by them names, that's the power they're going to exude over you. So I like that he called them deletes. You know what I'm saying? His name is Strange the Wordplay King on TikTok. But yeah, he was the first person I ever heard call them deletes, and I love the saying. So yeah. But yeah, they know exactly what's going on. They know who is who. And even with us, they know who we are, a lot of us. Because again, some of us were created here on Earth. Some of us came from other planets. Some of us came from Risk, came from the 19th galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know this. You don't know this because you stuck on religion. You stuck on what they gave you. And I'm here to tell you, give them all they shit back. Give them all they shit back. It's not yours. And the longer you hold on to it, the more you're going to be stuck here under their rule. They time been up. I've been hearing this since I was like a teenager. Oh, they rule is up. They rule is up. Yeah, and it's true. But we keep it going. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, without us, without our mental capacity, our consciousness, keeping this reality what it is, it would collapse. This is why they would keep feeding you movies about slavery and all this kind of stuff to keep you in that mindset. When you start looking into who you really are and how far you go back, and when you start getting into that, when you start going back to, your lineage before the Bible, they don't want you on that. They don't want you on that vibration. Because that vibration is a vibration that cannot be controlled. That vibration was them Haitians fucking them up in the Haitian War. They don't want you on that vibration. They don't even want you seeing stuff like that, because that type of stuff is contagious. You either gonna take the poison or you gonna take the cure. And the cure is right knowledge, right understanding, right wisdom, sound right reasoning. It's Nuwabu. And however form you want to take it. Now chew on that. Peace.
You are chosen.
144,000 chosen trees.
Assured. We are pure alchemists. Transmuting your thoughts into gold.
Ariska Yale.
Yes, and
Meet me in the laboratory.